Hello and welcome, beautiful souls, to the Light of Shaya. My channel is all about illuminating the spiritual path forward while providing messages of love and light. Welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a reading that I was kind of guided to doing. I don't know, I couldn't sleep very well last night, and I kept getting sorry, I'm getting a little bit OCD here. Um, I was getting some feelings of probably gonna have to edit that out. So I was getting some feelings at night. I kept getting visions of like the tarot cards and having to. I felt the need. Maybe the reason I couldn't sleep was because I kind of went to bed knowing that I had to make this message or do this message, bring this message to you. Because I just kept getting this vision of the tarot cards and like having to come out with something. I couldn't get to the bottom of it. And then I had this really interesting dream. Interestingly enough, yesterday, while I was on my computer, I saw just like this brown spider running up the wall, and then it just stopped right in front of me, like right behind my screen, but on top of it, so I could see it clearly. And of course, I didn't want it in the house, so I went ahead and caught it and took it outside to like a somewhat safe area. And I had a dream about a spider last night. And for whatever reason, I was in like some cabin or something, and there was a bunch of bunk beds everywhere. So it was like a lodge where everybody kind of got together, and I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you guys ever went to like summer camp when you were a kid, but it was kind of like that, but really weird. Anyway, so I noticed there was a bunch of cobwebs up on the top of like on the ceiling, and I couldn't help but notice that there was like spiders up there, obviously, and I just found it very interesting. So I went on top of one of the bunk beds, and I was laying on the top bunk, and I see this this somewhat small spider. It was about maybe this big, and she had a really beautiful like blue abdomen, and it was kind of like almost furry. It didn't look like glossy or anything like that, and she descended towards me, and then landed on like my hand, and I kind of just was like, oh wow, this is a spider, I probably should not be playing with it. But I was kind of in awe. So anyway, a very interesting dream that I had. I'm sure there's some message, perhaps maybe some of you might resonate with something like this. But I know the spider is a symbol of the divine feminine and kind of like the creatrix of the universe, because they spin webs. And it's interesting that this creature, as small as it is, can easily create its own home wherever it goes, and obviously by producing its web. So maybe some of you out there may be feeling the need to create a new foundation or something along those lines, because she's also kind of like a messenger. I don't really get her as a messenger of transformation, but she very well might be in this case. The bright blue is making me think of the throat chakra, so perhaps there's a truth that needs to come out, or you may be standing more in your truth or something along those lines. But anyway, with that being said, I was just feeling very guided to making this or doing this message for you. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go ahead and pull a card here from the Sacred Traveler Oracle cards, and then some Animal Spirit Oracle cards. And okay, that's okay. Interesting. So one of these cards flipped out of all these. And this card is answering the call. The time is now. And I think this might be the first card in the deck. I'm not too sure about that. But the time is now. And you can see she is kind of running out the door there. And I'm just seeing how beautiful the path looks initially. But when you start looking at this, there's kind of like all these gnarled trees. So there may be a lot of fear surrounding a particular situation and not wanting to move forward. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the Animal Spirit cards here. Yeah, so there might be, there's definitely something right now. Some of you might have a spiritual calling. This video, it was intended to be of a spiritual nature, but the material. Okay, we got wasp spirit there. Life stings. Yeah, so the time is now, and sometimes life stings. That's interesting. Okay, and then we have starfish spirit, open to infinite possibilities. So these are really, really interesting cards here. I'm going to put this one in the middle. So wasp spirit, sometimes life strings. Excuse me, sometimes life stings. I'm thinking about this card. It's come up recently in one of my own personal readings that I've done for myself, and I personally I have been going through some difficulties here and there, but who doesn't, right? So with wasp spirit here, there's probably a message that really needs to come out for some of you, that sometimes we may not know why bad things happen to us, or things that are unfortunate to us, things that just overall just cause us some sort of pain or discomfort. But this is just spirit saying, well, basically sometimes shit happens. And this could be past karma that's working out from like past lives, or this incarnation. But basically, at the end of the day, shit happens. And with the answering the call, perhaps maybe the way I'm interpreting this is these gnarled trees that we have here. There may be a sense of maybe that's what the pain is. Also, fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, saying like, why can't I just know? And this could be psychological pain being inflicted. With starfish spirit here, we do have open to infinite possibility. And this really corresponds to this card as well. There's definitely a message going on here about moving past pain, probably releasing the past, and answering your spiritual calling. Starfish spirit is about opening to infinite possibility. So basically, I think we forget our power while we're here. We do go through the veil of forgetting when we incarnate. So with open to infinite possibility, it's like it's time to start reclaiming your power. Interestingly enough, I did light the crown chakra candle because I was kind of like being called to that. But right now, what seems to be occurring is that there's a spiritual calling that needs to be answered, and once we do this, there's a sense of opening to infinite possibility, because that's literally what source is infinite possibilities. It's a source explores itself by exploring the infinity of possibilities within itself. So this calling that we're feeling is very important. I'm getting the sense of cultivation from spirit to see what's going on within us. That's very vague, Manny. That's very vague. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that through the pain that we've experienced, we're being cultivated, and this is a lot of very spiritual lessons coming through for us at this time. Unfortunately, we live in a paradigm, or like a unfortunately, we live in a world where pain is the number one catalyst here. So I had quite a few cards come up here. I'm not going to take the other two that fell. But we have, okay, wow. Okay, so first card here, we have, I'm going to go ahead and read these because I feel the need to. Some sort of collaboration that's going to be happening maybe within the near future. This could be something that you're currently working on in collaboration. This could be the mind-body, it would be like mind, body, spirit, because spirit's always the one on the very top there. So the Holy Trinity of coming together with your higher self, aligning your body and your mind, ascending. This could be what this calling is about. We have the Nine of Cups here. So there's definitely some sort of wish fulfillment going to be occurring. There's something perhaps related to this collaboration, because I'm feeling the need to combine these cards here. There may be a sense of good things to come, because we do have, and interestingly enough, I put him below the wasp spirit. So I'm thinking there's definitely an ending to the pain somehow, some way, by aligning yourself. Maybe that's what this calling is about. Is spirit is really trying to align you, mind, body, spirit, so that you can start fulfilling these wishes for yourself, or through somebody, some sort of collaboration. But it could very well be just a combination of you and your co-creation with spirit. We have the Princess of Cups here. So with the Princess of Cups, this could be the spiritual calling. This could very well be opening up to the realm of emotion, opening up to spirituality, opening up to being open to love. Um, this could potentially be an apology coming in. That may or may not resonate for some of you. That's a pretty general message there. Um, but right now, I don't know. I'm putting these below these for whatever reason. I'm feeling the need to. So interestingly enough, these are three major arcana behind the open to infinite possibility. We have the star here. So this is a sign of Aquarius. You could be dealing with an Aquarian, somebody with a heavy Aquarius in their chart. But the star speaks of healing, and this is really corresponding to this overall message. You know, the spiritual, the being spiritual and living a life of a spiritually awakened person is literally about continuing to heal yourself throughout your entire life. It's a never-ending work, and I mean that's kind of perpetuated here by the spirals. And there's once you open up to this infinite possibility of your infinite being, there could be a lot of healing, or even the awareness of your infinite potential is going to start bringing in healing, because your perception is starting to shift, especially with answering the call here. It's like you've been hearing this all along. Maybe you've heard this calling a few times before, and now you're really starting to step into it. It's almost like you're starting to become aware with the the fact that you're a spiritual being, that you're pure consciousness in a physical form. With the Hanged Man here, this card for me represents enlightenment, self-sacrifice. This could be some form of contemplation that you've placed yourself in. And this hangman is very, very different from the other hangmans in other decks, because usually the hangman is kind of being held by a rope. In this case, you could see this gentleman here, this figure, is crucified upside down, because you have nails coming in through his palms and through one of his feet there. But through this, there's a sense of enlightenment. This is a form of martyrdom. This, through your pain, you're transforming. I'm getting that very strongly from this card. Your pain right now is transforming you. We don't have the death card here, but I'm getting heavy like death card feelings from this, of massive transformation. And interestingly enough, before I started this reading, for whatever reason, I don't know what came over me. I guess maybe I was thinking I would draw the cards and then lay them out and then start recording. But I was like, no, I should probably shuffle on camera, because people like seeing that. So the card that popped out was the card of transformation from this deck. And then I realized, no, I should probably really record this video with the shuffling, because people like to see the shuffling, and I feel like it adds a level of credibility to the. And interestingly enough, it's the only card that was like upside down, because I had put it in there so quickly. Actually, no, there's another one here. I lied. But the point being here is this is the card that had originally popped out, and it says a fresh new way of living emerges. And this just gives me the vibe of the Phoenix. So with that, yeah, there's definitely a massive transformation happening in your life right now. We do have the Lovers here. So this could be a Gemini, an Aquarius that you're dealing with. I mean, you could be you could be, in a sense, even calling in your person, like your counterpart. And I'm interestingly enough, I'm seeing the snake here underneath the hanged man, and there's a snake here coiled around an egg of like infinite potential. Yes, there's definitely a feeling here of like perhaps through pain and suffering and through your transformation and healing process, you may have been calling in a divine counterpart, or you could be calling in some sort of soulmate with the lovers here. This could be a decision that you have made in the past. Let's see here. What's the overall outcome? This is a really interesting reading. This is only going to resonate for a few people, who knows. We shall see. Another overall message needs to come out. Okay. Interesting. So we have a progression here. You have the Seven of Pentacles, which usually, and it's really interesting, or the Seven of Discs, because this is the Thoth deck. They refer to them as discs. But this card in the traditional Rider-Waite deck isn't as heavy of a card. It's a card that kind of just indicates waiting. It's like you planted your seeds and now you just have to wait for them to bear fruit. It's almost like a very, very boring card. But in this deck here, this card represents failure. And then we have a progression here, because we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is a completely different energy. I mean, usually the Eight of Pentacles is a really boring card as well. But this is a progression here. So there could have been in the past, because I did ask for the outcome here. I'm not getting the sense, because there is a progression. So there's some sort of progression that's occurring here, especially referring to money, because the discs represent the material, and usually it's about abundance, like money, basically, at the end of the day, career, finance, whatever you want to call it. And there's a progression here. So there may have been something that you planted in the past that ended in failure. And there were lessons to be learned. Okay, see, we have the Fool here. So a brand new beginning, a brand new journey. And it was something that you perhaps spent a lot of time trying to cultivate. And you're like, maybe even you got the sense of like, no, this is never going to happen. But the cards here are indicating opposite of that. We have Prudence here, the Eight of Discs. And I mean, look at how beautiful this card is. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's quite boring. It's a man working on his pentacles. This could mean that you did spend a lot of time working on something. That's kind of the impression I'm getting. That something that you thought in the past wasn't worth it, or something that you thought that was a waste of time even. Because it ended in your eyes in failure. Then we have the Eight of Discs here, which talks about hard work. But this is almost like I'm seeing the flowers kind of blooming there. This is almost ready to bear fruit. And this is a brand new beginning. The Fool is arguably the most powerful card in the deck, because it represents source in infinite potential. It's infinite potential. The artwork on this particular deck is so interesting. There's just so much going on there. This is really interesting. There seems to be one more message that wants to come out, and I'm trying to figure out what that may be. Give me just a moment. Alrighty, so I'm going to be using the Isis Oracle deck here. This is a very, very potent deck that I've recently gotten into. But there are some really powerful messages in this deck. This deck, this may not be for everybody, but this deck really just, there's something, I could feel like the power behind the cards. Sorry, I'm shuffling off camera here. What is the message that needs to be told right now? What message do you have for us, Spirit? Interesting. Okay, this is a really powerful card, guys. Okay, so this is a really powerful card. Look at this. Healing the Divine Masculine, Osiris rises. I love the artwork in this deck. It's so detailed, so beautiful. So this is really, really interesting here. This whole entire message has been revolving. This card is the overarching message here. Sometimes life stings. Answering the call, opening to infinite possibilities. It's like I'm getting the sense that a lot of you have been dealing a great deal of inner work, and maybe the thing here that you're expecting is perhaps you've been doing the work and you haven't been reaping the rewards yet. And you're perhaps even wondering what the heck's going on. You've been working through this energy of healing the divine masculine aspect of yourself. So if you're the divine feminine incarnate here, and this doesn't matter whether this doesn't matter what your gender is, or what your identity is, or what your sex is. This is just the aspect of yourself, of the masculine, that's being healed. And in particular, I mean, clearly the divine masculine, even incarnate, he obviously has to go through his own healing process of the divine masculine aspects of himself, but there's a large emphasis on the divine feminine in him as well, because he must come into balance. He needs to honor the feminine within himself, the feelings, the creativity, the emotion, the way of expressing oneself, right? So right now, what's happening, and especially with the Lover's card here, the Hanged Man, and the Star, infinite possibilities, the message that's really coming through here is, for some of you, once again, this could be you calling in a divine counterpart through your healing process of the divine masculine aspects. You may not even necessarily be aware of the fact that you've been healing yourself in this manner. You've probably been going through a dark night of the soul. The reason I say this is because I remembered, by looking at this card, the dismemberment of Osiris. He was ripped to shreds by his dark brother Set, right? If you're familiar with the story, anyhow. His brother Set, the dark aspect of himself, dismembered him. He cut up his limbs and tore off his phallus, and he scattered them all across Egypt. And Isis, the goddess Isis, she ended up having to put Osiris back together again. However, she could not find his phallus. So her, being basically an infinite creatrix, used the power of magic to form a new phallus for Osiris and made him whole again, so that they could be in union with one another. And this, for me, is this is a really deep story of healing the destructive, toxic traits of the divine masculine, of control, of being unemotional, of being the toxic masculinity of machismo, and making people almost, in a sense, bow to you. And there's definitely a sense of control there. You've been actively healing the divine masculine aspects of yourself, whether you're aware of it or not. And this is bringing you in union with yourself. This is a very healing process. And once you're done with this, and you're almost there, with this Eight of Pentacles. You've been working hard. You're almost there, because here we have the Fool, that new beginning. You're almost there in the sense of having healed this and gone through this process completely. And at the end of it here, we have the Lovers. This could very well resemble union within yourself, but this could be, in a sense, also calling in a high-level soulmate, a divine counterpart through this. And I mean, we do have the wish fulfillment card here. And interestingly enough, earlier in this reading, I was saying with the Three of Pentacles, there was a sense of coming into union with mind, body, spirit, right? Through pain. And once again, I feel like this is definitely the overarching message right now that I'm getting. One of the big things is that you've gone through a massive transformation because of the incredible pain that you've been put under. It's like spirit was tearing you apart, like Osiris. Spirit tore you to pieces. I mean, metaphorically speaking. Because that's what was needed to be done. And I don't know why I got this. It's almost like this are your, like, so to speak, the pieces of yourself. And the purity and divine love and light was being washed through these pieces. I don't know why I got that impression. This is very, very dark. And I mean, this further emphasizes the dark night of the soul dismemberment kind of feel to me. The, like, being torn apart. And I mean, this is a calling that must be answered, of course. It's almost, you do have free will, but it's more painful to stay stuck than it is to start on this journey of healing, of spirituality, of being aware of your infinite potential, being aware of your infinite being, and knowing that in this realm, we're here to learn lessons that are incredibly painful at times, but in the end allow us to heal ourselves. And with the divine masculine coming through here, healing the divine masculine, if you're watching this video, this has been the process that you've been going through. Healing your divine masculine aspects of protection, of being nurturing in a masculine way, because the feminine and the masculine kind of love and view life in very different ways. It's almost hard to understand the other aspect, right? When you're very, very attuned to one way. I mean, there's some people who have a much different balance, I've noticed. But for example, I'll share my own personal experience. I view life more from the divine feminine aspect of emotion and creativity and expression. And I mean, the fact that I'm even doing tarot readings here and oracle readings really just demonstrates the comfort that I'm in with the feminine aspects of myself. So it's almost hard for me to understand the masculine's perspective. And once again, sharing part of my story here, this may be oversharing, but I kind of want to get you guys to see the kind of like correspondence here, because this is a story that's being told. And I think you're going through a very similar process. I had major abandonment issues surrounding my father because he simply wasn't around. There was a drug abuse and alcohol abuse and a very toxic home environment that he used as an excuse to also move away, to be away from us. And this was obviously as a child, it's a very painful experience because you feel in a sense abandoned, you feel shunned. And as a child, you can't necessarily discern why that is, right? You almost in a sense blame yourself. And so I've actually had to answer this calling that I felt internally. It was like Source was saying something to me, and I didn't know it at the time, but then I had an awakening. So some of you might have gone through a recent awakening as well. But some of you may have already been on this path for quite a while. I just started this year. Not even gonna lie here. I mean, I've always been somewhat spiritual, but the actual like awakening kicked in. It was like, what? Whoa. I thought I was going nuts. Um, I still do have those doubts. I'm not gonna lie. But here, what I'm saying is you've anyway. I'm just alluding to my journey because I feel like people understand each other more when they share their stories, right? Because then we could see the common points, and it's like, oh, you've been through a similar experience. I thought maybe I was alone in this, or there's a sense of camaraderie and community that's built. So that's why I feel the need to share these things with you. But I'm definitely getting the sense of just blending the masculine and the feminine energies within yourself. My goodness, oh my God, this is an incredible message. This is beautiful. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and draw from the what is this deck called? I forgot already. Maybe do I have the the Soul's Journey lesson cards? Just to close out these messages here. These two, huh? Yeah. Okay. This one wanted to... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull that one too. Look at what came out at the bottom of the deck. We have growth. It says, I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Yes, that's answering the call. You're answering the call to expand your consciousness and your awareness. You finally left the matrix. And you're starting to become aware of things. I'm going to put this one in the middle here. Here we have pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. This, for me, is in correspondence with the healing of the divine masculine, because there's toxic pride, and then there's being proud of yourself, loving yourself, right? That's really a core lesson to be learned in this life, is to always value yourself no matter what. Always put yourself first. If at any point you feel that somebody's taking advantage of you, or there's just that sense of like you're giving too much of yourself, then you're already steering off the path of self-love, because when you truly love yourself, you do not allow people to walk all over you. You don't allow people to take from you. You don't give to people, because you deserve to also receive. That is a crucial lesson. And by healing the divine masculine, you're able to stand in your power now. You're being more in authority. You have more consciousness and awareness of your life and how to lead it for yourself, how to be a leader in your own life. Here we have love. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things, most definitely. There's that sense of like the new journey, this new spiritual beginning for you is the path of love. And here we have regret. I know that I cannot change the past. This is relating to sometimes life stings. We make mistakes. And interestingly enough, last night, I came to that realization of you see, I've struggled with perfectionism for a very long time. And this probably was one of the toxic aspects of my masculine side, because it was a form of controlling things. Because if things went according to plan, if things were always perfectly aligned in the material realm, the way that I could understand and like twist the energies in my favor, so to speak, that's not quite the message that I'm trying to convey. But through that perfectionism of like control, I felt that I could not make mistakes. But interestingly enough, that was very, very damaging to me, and that did not allow me to progress at all. So I had to look inside and say, whoa, this is definitely not healthy behavior, right? So I have regrets, of things that I did in the past, but these were before I was living a conscious life. These were unconscious decisions. And then I realized that I'm a human being. And that was a very liberating experience for me, because it's almost like I've had to, in a sense, self-sacrifice. That martyrdom, that idea of martyrdom came through in my head. I had to be the perfect person. I had to be strong for myself. And I thought that was what masculinity, in a sense, was about. I thought that was part of like what it meant to be a man. And I realized with this regret card that no, that every mistake that we make is a lesson in love. And every mistake that we make helps us understand ourselves. And that's how we see ourselves in everyone. And so this is a highly spiritual lesson, because once we start realizing that we have to let go of the ego, of pride, and yes, we do have regrets. I'm seeing this as like past and future energies. The mind loves to be constantly working, so it'll either look to the future and cause anxiety, or it'll look to the past and cause regrets and pain. So it's almost like you're sucking yourself back in, and this is the alignment here for me of the blending of the masculine and feminine energies, and finally understanding that you love yourself. And this is a powerful lesson, because when you love yourself, that's when the healing begins, right? I mean, when you open yourself up to even more healing, to become even more yourself, to become powerful, to become able to express yourself, to be able to express yourself without judgment and not caring what other people think, and saying, this is me, and be unapologizing about it, like being unapologetic. Wow. Okay. So, bottom of the deck, once again, growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. So you're definitely answering the call. There's big energies coming into your life right now. Continue to focus on your healing path. Continue to focus on it, because it's going to free you, and it's going to help you become even better, even stronger. And this could very well mean that you're calling in your divine counterpart, because with the Lover's card there and the healing, that's definitely the kind of the energy that I'm getting from it. I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 cards, and then I'll close out. That'll be close out the reading for let's see, future energies here. I'm going to be using the Ethereal Visions deck. Okay, future energies for the people watching. 6 of Pentacles, equal give and take. Perhaps the universe is going to start. Whoa, lots of cards wanting to come out here. Too many cards, Spirit. 10 of Cups, emotional fulfillment. Should I pull this? Yes. Bottom of the deck, we have the Judgment card. Higher calling. This is definitely very spiritual in nature. So for some of you out there, this may be communication coming in. This could be travel. This could you just simply be feeling very energetic and moving towards something. Feeling more in your power. We have the 6 of Pentacles here. Equal give and take. This is, once again, the card. 6 is a card of balance. So balance is very important here. I'm just getting the sense of you balancing out the scales within yourself. This could be, for those of you perhaps dealing with the past connection or something along those lines, because I should probably go into that as well for some of you. This could be communication coming in from this person that they want to balance out the scales with you. Perhaps there was a divine masculine in your life. Because usually the divine masculine is the one that runs away from the connection at first. This could very well be a person wanting to come back to even out the scales, because they know they've done wrong, perhaps. And maybe that's what the regret is coming through here. And we have emotional fulfillment. Whatever the case here, watcher, viewer, there's emotional fulfillment coming in. This is a very beautiful card that you're going to be stepping into. Whatever the case is, your healing process is going to end in absolute and complete emotional fulfillment, the happy family. So things may have been looking heavy for you at first, but it looks like the energies are going to be looking a lot better. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please do hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'll be bringing more messages like this to you. I'm going to do my best to make daily videos, to release daily videos, because these are very important messages coming through, and I think Spirit has been trying to communicate through me, but I haven't really been doing all that good of a job. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. You're stepping into some really beautiful energy after some pretty heavy energy. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later. I'm sending you much love and light. Take care.